How many times have you heard this before?
The dub? Ew, it's so bad. Ugh.
Dub's gross. Get it out of my face.
The dub sucks. Lol.
The dub is absolute cringe.
This
Get it
dub
out of my
is
face.
cringe.
Dubs are trash.
Subversion has
Dub
the
is
dub
better.
version in the
This
garbage.
dub is
At
lame.
Wax
This
City,
dub
the
is
dub
cringe.
version
This
is their
dub
absolute
is
This
diabetes.
dub
is
This
dub
dub
is
is
dub
bad.
is
This
dub
dub
is
is
Why?
suck.
Why'd you play
Ew,
that dub?
Hey,
This
dub
dub
is
is
ugh.
bad. This dub.
Obnoxious, right? None of these comments ever open up a dialogue for discussion. They just shoot people down who don't share the same mindset. But yet, it's just the norm when you're talking about anime. Whenever I go online to watch English dubbed anime clips, I always come across at least one of these comments. It's annoying to see people say stuff like this because it reinforces one of my biggest frustrations with the anime community. To this day, anime dubs are unfairly dismissed by a majority of hardcore anime fans. If you've been following me through various social media, you'll know that I am a working voice actor. You'll also know by watching my voice actor video essays that I have a passionate interest in the voiceover business. Not only that, but I am, and always have been, an avid supporter of English dubbed anime. Even if an anime started streaming in Japanese first, I would prefer to honestly wait patiently for the dub to come out. As a Dragon Ball fan growing up, I watched dubbed anime for so long that my very first experience hearing Son Goku's original seiyuu, Masako Nozawa, was incredibly jarring to me. Despite my strong attachment to Sean Schimmel's macho hero voice for Goku,
Less than 50% power or not, if I pull off a Kaioken times 20, I at least stand a chance. I've just got to give it my all and show this guy you do not mess with me and my friends!
I would soon grow up to appreciate Nozawa-sama's talents. Once I gave the Japanese version a fair chance, it grew on me, and I came to realize how good it actually was. The same can be said for anime shows that get a brand new English dub. The dub may feel foreign to most anime fans, but it's not impossible to be okay with watching the dub. Anime dubbing is a form of voiceover that I've grown to appreciate as a work of art. So much so that I've taken the time to train myself through workshops so I can learn how to do it. When one of my peers gets a new role in a dub, I cheer them on. If I were offered the same opportunity, you better believe I'd accept it in a heartbeat. I'm making this video to show my #dublove. I want to show how the English dubs of your favorite anime deserve as much respect and appreciation as the original Japanese version. But above all else, I'm here to simply discuss why I love dubs. Before the advent of streaming, dubbing companies played a big part in bringing anime to the United States. Anime classics like Akira and Ghost in the Shell definitely sparked interest in the West, undeniably so. But I'd like to talk about an anime that got everybody's attention in the late 90s. The show that got many fans excited to tune into Cartoon Network's Toonami block to watch some guys scream loud, fire beams out of their hands, and kick the crap out of each other. Let's get into how Funimation introduced Americans to Dragon Ball Z. In 1994, Gen Fukunaga started Funimation with the idea of bringing anime to America. A few years later, Fukunaga was presented with the opportunity of buying the license to Dragon Ball Z. Getting the property wasn't very easy because Toei Animation wasn't going to let just anybody have their top dog show. Fortunately, after a year of negotiating with Toei, Funimation was able to purchase DBZ because of Hollywood's lack of faith in the material's success. After getting the show, Funimation really struggled with getting proper TV coverage for DBZ. That was until 1998, when Cartoon Network picked up the show for their brand new anime block, Toonami. They promoted the hell out of the show, which eventually surged Dragon Ball Z's popularity. Many kids and young adults were introduced to DBZ on Toonami, but not through watching the Japanese version. No, kids grew up watching DBZ with the English voices of the Ocean Productions cast, who are based from our good old neighbors up in Canada.
You're out of line. We're not here to bow down to your demands. We're here to fight. So go ahead and do whatever it is that you came here to do.
Eventually, the cast was switched out with the voice actors of Funimation, who are based in Texas.
Jace, are you alright? Is it bleeding? Be careful, Jace, or you'll stain your gloves. Better just shut up!
Sometime later, Funimation would license other anime and produce more dubs for the shows they acquired. They raked in the praise of many fans, and as their company grew, Funimation became one of the top dogs of the dubbing industry. This would play in their favor during the streaming age. In this modern age of technology, watching anime has become much easier to do with the introduction of simulcasting. Thanks to Crunchyroll and many other sites, we now have the ability to watch new episodes of anime an hour after they pop up in Japan. Plus, with professionally translated subtitles, fan subs were mostly no longer necessary. But with this great luxury of watching anime, this put dubs in an awkward position. Many anime fans, and myself admittedly, are very impatient. When brand new anime episodes are made, we want to watch them ASAP, by whatever means necessary. Despite how good the dub might be, most fans would rather watch the sub version when it's already available to watch online, rather than just wait to buy the DVD for the dub of episodes they've already seen a whole year ago. So in this case, how can English dubs of anime broadcast the dubs on a weekly basis? Funimation answered this question with broadcast dubs and simuldubs. The luxury of being able to watch your favorite dubs week by week, sometimes a week after they come out in Japan. If an anime gets simuldubbed, fans can instantly watch new dub episodes without having to wait a year for the physical release. Granted, it's not a perfect service by any means. Episodes can have trouble releasing on time due to licensing issues, website crashes from an overflow of traffic, or even in our current situation, as I'm currently recording this, a global pandemic. As demonstrated by the simuldub for My Hero Academia, great strides were made by the crew to keep the dub going during COVID-19. Actors were sent dubbing kits, and engineers worked hard to guide everyone through the process of dubbing at home. Sure, some episodes came out late, but everyone involved with the dub of My Hero deserves a big thank you for putting in the effort. In fact, we owe a big thank you to dubbing companies for going out of their way to license and localize shows for many American fans. Even if new episodes are not released on time, I have nothing but respect for the crew who work incredibly hard to get dubs out there. But how much work goes into making a dub? What is it that separates a bad dub from a good dub? Dubbing is not just reading the subtitles and calling it a day. It's a process that requires translating a whole other language, time coding and lip flats, converting the raw translation into a script, having the talent come in to record their lines, and then adding the final edits necessary before putting out the final product. But what makes this form of voice acting so difficult for many actors is how restrictive it is. In original animation, actors record their lines first before any animation is done, which gives actors a lot of room to play around with their characters. In the dubbing business, everyone is working with footage that's already fully animated, and matching the lip flaps is the top priority. Dubbing anime is a skill that is very difficult because it requires an actor to cold read, make strong acting choices, and of course, fit the lip flaps. Utilizing all of these skills takes a lot of practice and training, which can be done through some very informative workshops. A common complaint I hear against dubs is, "Ugh, why do they always use the same actors?" Well, I'll tell you. The first reason is that non-union dubbing is not very lucrative. Except for union dubs like Naruto, this low amount of pay would turn away many actors who are already working consistently in cartoons and commercials. But if you're still new to the industry, working a second job to pay rent, and you're lucky enough to book a job in dubbing anime, you'll take what you can get. The second reason you keep hearing those same actors is because they're good at dubbing. They've trained themselves enough in the complicated craft of anime dubbing that casting directors can trust them to really deliver in their characters. This is why holding open auditions is not ideal for putting together a professional dub, or any professional production really. It takes too much time to dig through a ton of lousy auditions to find the perfect actor for your show. It makes more sense to hold closed auditions, since casting directors have a list of people to choose from who know how to dub. Yet another thing that dubs get flack for is changing the script. It's just so ludicrous to me. As I explained before, scriptwriters have to translate a whole other language and forge that into a script for the actors while still trying to fit the lip flaps. But just using the raw translation is not good enough for a memorable dub. You gotta be creative and take chances to give your dub personality.
Draw your last pathetic card so I can end this, Yugi.
My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba. But it does contain the unstoppable Exodia.
Impossible!
Otherwise, you end up with a bland dub with very rigid dialogue.
Ha! Did you finally lose hope and decide to pull any card?
Not quite. I have my hope right here in my hand. The card I pulled is Exodia, the Forbidden One.
What the?
But on the flip side of that, focusing on the lip flaps too much is also a problem. This can make certain line reads from actors sound unintentionally goofy.
It's over 9,000!
Okay, let's settle this once and for all!
You're much too young yet. I forbid you to be a professional racer till you're older and have more experience behind the wheel.
Oh, you bit me. Oh, you bit my toe. Oh, my poor toe, that's not fair.
Fuck you!
When you write a script for a dub, you need to find that fine balance between fitting the lip flaps, understanding the source material, and have the character speak with personality. To quote Ghost in the Shell director Mamoru Oshii, languages are not truly translatable. You are never going to get a dub that is one-to-one the same as the original Japanese. Even if you could do it, doing so would not make the dub any better. In a way, English dubs are creative adaptations of anime. Much like when you're adapting a book or any piece of media, you're going to have to make changes that better fit your medium of expression. What one character says one way in Japanese may not work the same way in English. Some things may be lost in translation, but that's always going to happen when you're adapting a whole other language. Sometimes though, you'll get those fun little dubs that are quote-unquote special cases.
Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
No, I'm Jewish.
English dubs that have shown to be unique in their scripting and or casting process. Two productions that come to mind would be the anime dubs for Ghost Stories and Hells. In its original Japanese run, Ghost Stories had very poor reception from viewers. In layman's terms, it was a very poopy show. So when ADV Films was given the rights to dub Ghost Stories, the Japanese licensors allowed the team to do whatever they wanted to make the show sell. The names of the characters couldn't be changed, the names of the ghosts had to be untouched, and the overall message of an episode had to stay the same. But aside from that, everything was fair game for the writing process.
I want a huge allowance and breasts when I get older.
And when I get older, I want to fondle said breasts.
I pray that all my friends will become born-again Christians.
So this resulted in the creation of the funniest and raunchiest anime dub ever created.
Mom, what's going on?
Come rub my nipples.
Excuse me?
Drop the Krispy Kreme, Serpico! We need your help
You see
here!
my house look like my father and my brother after 9 masters visits?
Yeah, diggity!
They changed the characters' personalities, there was plenty of vulgar swearing.
Pussy.
What a bitch!
Your ass!
The fourth wall was broken constantly,
Oh my god, what the hell's happening here? These are the fastest lip flaps I've ever had to sink!
and they made fun of everyone. Religious people, the mentally challenged, the dub cast, nothing was off limits. On the one hand, the dub is very unfaithful to the source material, which is the antithesis of what a good dub should do. But on the other hand, it is a dub that is celebrated by the community for being one of the most hilarious dubs out there. It is the South Park of anime dubs, and that is why we love it so much.
Good, then you can do the broadcast so I can get my brains banged out by Mr. Sakata before third period. I mean, Mr. Sakata and I have a very private teacher-teacher conference we have to do this afternoon.
Oh wow, I can't even comprehend how inappropriate this is.
As for what makes the dub of the anime film Hells so special, if you've been a DBZ fan and have been watching YouTube videos since 2008, there's a chance you have heard of the anime parody series Dragon Ball Z Abridged, a comedy fan-dub series that remade the famous fighting anime into a much more condensed, self-aware, and goofy love letter to the franchise. Similar to the likes of Adult Swim's Space Coast Coast to Coast or Little Karibo's Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, but with much higher production. So when Discotech presented Scott Frericks with the opportunity to put together a dub for the Madhouse film Hells, he gladly accepted. With the assistance of Sound Cadence and Team 4-Star's amazing talent pool, the dub for Hells was finally released in November 2018. Writing the dub for Hells was a very difficult process because the film is full of dialogue and full of life. Not to mention the dozens of screaming monologues actors had to dub over. But all of the effort and struggle was totally worth it in my opinion, because this dub showcases some spectacular talent. Jason Mornoka's performance as Helvis is super enjoyable to listen to. He plays up the Elvis personality of the character without coming off as a lame impression.
And you gotta graduate. That's the unbreakable rule for those who have died. And you died!
It also helps that he harmonizes a big chunk of his dialogue.
Baby! Yeah! Rock and roll! Study up, baby!
This is also a dub that offers opportunities to actors like Joshua Gotay. Joshua is an incredible actor with a very extensive range, but he was never getting any work from where he lived. So when he booked the character Mario in Hells, he truly delivered. Despite this being his very first professional dub role, he knocked his performance out of the park.
I know you're hurting too, but my pain is unbearable. It's 1,000,000,000 times worse. I don't know why, but my heart feels like it's breaking apart. So shut the hell up!
What adds another layer of enjoyment to watching this dub as a TFS fan is all of the meta references to the voice cast.
Stuffed crust, King Kai! You can eat it in reverse.
Mealtime is simply harmonious, enjoyable, and quiet. Punishment, you will starve.
When you see Vegeta, tell him I said, like a bitch.
Well, you know what they say, God is dead.
Tonight I dine on monkey soup.
Oh, honey, don't tell me you've already forgotten who I am.
I could gush more about Hells and its super fun dub, but that's a video for another time. Making a professional anime dub takes a lot of time and effort to put together. This is why most anime dubs are usually released 1 year after the original Japanese run. So with all of this in mind, how do simuldubs get made every week? This is where pre-casting comes in. For this process, casting directors simply choose an actor to play a character based on their acting experience and their availability. One of the rarest exceptions of simuldubs to hold closed auditions is My Hero Academia. As for Space Dandy, a dub that was released in English first, before the Japanese version, working on the show was a total nightmare. To meet those very tight deadlines, writers barely had 2 days to work on scripts, and actors had to come in for sessions even if they were sick. While the dub was very well received, everyone behind the scenes was burnt out on the process. Over time, dubbing companies were able to utilize what they've learned from the experience of simuldubbing. Nowadays, simuldubs mostly come out at least 1 week after the sub version. This has proven more beneficial in the long run. Yes, the sub version comes out first, and simuldubs can still get the occasional delay. But this has helped with creating a much more organized process of getting dubs out to the public as fast as possible. The best kind of creativity is born through limitations. Whether it's a group of writers making a memorable script, an actor honing their abilities in cold reading, or a whole team trying their best to meet a deadline, each failure and success has helped dubs evolve. Through this evolution, we've been introduced to some amazing quality dubs over the years. We've also seen the rise of some amazing talent. Dubs are made by very passionate people, and that passion can certainly go a very long way. So much so that an anime dub can leave you with a really good feeling. Now the time has come for me to show my great passion for this form of voiceover. As I've watched more anime in English, I've been exposed to some dubs that stuck with me in a very positive way. I'd like to talk about 3 things that show how a great dub sounds like in practice. My 3 reasons why I will never stop supporting dubs, and why I believe good dubs enhance the experience of watching anime. As a working voice actor, I recognize that the most compelling kind of acting performance can really immerse you. When an actor recognizes who the character is and what they want, they can play around with them in a very fun way. It's the reason why it's so exciting to watch a stage actor deliver a powerful monologue. It's also a big reason why I love Johnny Yambosh's performance as Lelouch V. Britannia from Code Geass. Johnny has been voice acting for a very long time and has played the role of many beloved characters. But to me, Lelouch is Johnny's most spellbinding anime role. He is a young, intelligent, and vengeful freedom fighter who is passionate about creating a happy future for his little sister Nunnally. With such a powerful want, Johnny can really sink his teeth into Lelouch, command authority, show great conviction, and bring out the character's inner layers.
The only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed. I want payback for being dragged into your fight. But that's not how the game is supposed to go! No! You think you could ever replace Nunnally in my heart? You're an imposter!
While Jun Fukuyama's performance as Lelouch could be quite intense in the Japanese version, Johnny can sound downright terrifying. For comparison's sake, here's how Lelouch laughs between both versions. I could go on about why I love Johnny's Lelouch, but that'll be a topic for a future video. I'll just say that a big reason why I love watching Code Geass was so I could hear more of Johnny's talented acting work at play.
Well then.
A lot of my favorite kinds of anime feature moments where characters explode into huge bouts of emotion. I'm talking about extreme expressions of their rage, sorrow, terror, repulsion, and excitement. It's very entertaining when a dub actor can connect to a character's emotions without holding anything back. Voice actress Colleen Clickenbeard has great character range and is amazing at screaming her feelings. Whether she's playing a strong warrior or a dim-witted pirate captain, Colleen can tap into the psyche of a character by tuning into their emotions. The first character I'd like to talk about would be Gohan from Dragon Ball Z Kai. I feel like Colleen Clickenbeard gets way too much flack from the fans of the original dub. When Dragon Ball Z Kai first came to the West, many fans were outraged by the script alterations and cast changes. Most of the fanboy hate went towards Gohan being played by Colleen Clickenbeard instead of her original actress Stephanie Nadolny. As a passionate DBZ fan who has been following the show since its run on Toonami in the early days of Cartoon Network in the early 2000s, I believe Colleen does the character more justice. Personally, I was never really a fan of Stephanie's take on Gohan. Her raspy boy voice works perfectly fine for a character like Goku, but for Gohan, the character was just very annoying to listen to. But with Colleen playing Gohan, I really felt for the little guy. Whenever Gohan screamed, you could feel the intense heat of his anger. You piss off Gohan, you better start running.
I said
move! Next, there's Reza Hawkeye from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Despite her strict and disciplined demeanor, she's a very caring individual when you get to know her. But just like anyone else, sometimes Reza can be pushed to her boiling point. Such as how when Lust says something to anger Hawkeye just to taunt her. Colleen expresses Hawkeye's fierce rage and how intensely she feels that rage with just 2 words.
You bitch!
Woo! Holy shit. Every time I hear that line, I get goosebumps.
Then we have Monkey D. Luffy from the long-running series One Piece. He is most definitely a very simple-minded character with a very direct goal. He wants to find the treasure named One Piece and become King of the Pirates. If you want to get on his good side, feed him some yummy food. But if you get in the way of his dream, or hurt his friends, he'll just kick your ass. Luffy may be simple, but Colleen brings out the complexity in how he reacts to his current situation. When Luffy, a goofy character full of optimism, has an emotional breakdown, listening to Colleen play that is legitimately heart-wrenching. To this day, I still consider Luffy's Jet Gatling to be Colleen's best scream as the character. When Colleen Clickenbeard plays a character, she proudly wears her heart on her sleeve. If she passionately cares about what her characters are going through, then there's another reason to get invested in the show she's in. With that, we move on to the last reason why I'll always love anime dubs. Cowboy Bebop is an anime that many fans hold in high regard as one of the best pieces of animation ever put out to television. It has fully fleshed out characters, top-notch visuals, and a rock-solid English dub. When it comes to the sub versus dub arguments had throughout social media, there is one thing that both sides can mostly agree on. The English dub for Cowboy Bebop is amazing. A dub so beloved by the general public that die-hard sub viewers prefer to watch Bebop in English over the original Japanese version. Directed by Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, and multiple episodes written by Mark Handler, Cowboy Bebop was a dub that felt natural. It was one of the earliest anime dubs where the characters talked like people, at least compared to the dubs that preceded it.
He's going over that cliff! Ah!
Each of the cast members made strong acting choices that well defined their characters. Melissa Fawn performs Edward with a playful and silly levity that's just so lovable. If Edward were to yell her lines constantly, she'd be annoying as hell. But they found just the right balance to keep her bubbly, but still gentle on the ears.
Play ball! You're a cow woof woof.
As Faye Valentine, Wendy Lee captures the sound of a femme fatale, but knew when to show her more incompetent and immature side.
Quite an elaborate way to get acquainted.
Damn it! Why is everyone in such a hurry all the time? Don't they know it's unhealthy?
Sorry, it's not personal. This is my job.
Next time, keep it covered!
Bo Billingsley plays Jet Black in a way that's very maternal. He's gruff sounding, and he's definitely been through some shit, but he has a heart of gold.
Special bell peppers and beef. The turtle took him to Ryugujo, the dragon temple.
Ryugujo?
That's right. It was like a palace.
Good riddance! At least I'll be able to keep some food in the place now. I never did understand you, right to the very end.
Finally, we have the most unique performance of all, Spike Spiegel, played by Steve Bloom.
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy.
You're a bounty hunter.
Yeah, that's right.
When it comes to the character of Spike Spiegel, he's a laid-back guy with a troubling past that has left him very jaded. In the face of danger, he has this devil-may-care attitude.
2.5 million wulongs, that's your bounty. I said you were a small fry.
Only showing annoyance with very trivial things.
You spilled my egg. I needed that egg.
And anger when his past is involved.
You think I'm vicious? You don't know what vicious is!
Steve Bloom perfectly captures this character with his naturally bassy voice and plays Spike very dry and deadpan without sounding bland. For the minor moments where Spike gets upset or pissed off, Steve will raise his emotion without going too over the top.
There's no beef in here. So you wouldn't really call it bell peppers and beef, now would you?
Yes, I would.
Well, it's not!
Without overacting or underacting, Steve finds that sweet balance to give off a very smooth-sounding performance.
Jet, do you know that there are 3 things that I particularly hate?
Really?
kids, animals, and women with attitudes. Oh. So tell me, Jet,
Why do we have all three of them neatly gathered in our ship?
To give some credit to the seiyuu, Koichi Yamadera's performance as Spike Spiegel was also quite good in its own right. But if you ask me, I believe that Steve Blum really resonates with Spike's character much more. This is why people love watching the English version of Cowboy Bebop over the Japanese version. It's a dub that I personally believe that other dubs should aspire to be.
Bang.
As we continue to get more anime in the USA, I will always advocate the production of anime dubs. Maybe it's because I like to support my fellow voice actor peers, but I can't help but get excited when a new dub gets announced for one of my favorite shows. Yes, there are bad dubs out there. It would be insanely hypocritical of me to deny that.
I don't give a shit.
Nonetheless, dismissing all English dubs just because you had a bad experience with one is totally unreasonable. Give the dub an honest chance, you just might like it. If you're going to point out a dub's flaws, don't be a dick about it. Please be constructive with your critiques and be respectful. Remember that the people who make these dubs have feelings just like you and me. Understand that dubs are adaptations and will never 100% be the same as the Japanese. If you want to keep an anime dub going, support the official release through legal channels. So to cap this off, I love anime dubs, and I'll never stop loving them.
He called you a cowboy. What did he mean? What are you?
Just a humble bounty hunter, ma'am.
Thank you to everybody for listening to me just gush about my favorite English dubs and why I love them so much. Special thanks goes to The Cartoon Cypher for their amazing dub editorials. They were all a fantastic resource and were incredibly informative. I highly recommend watching their Cowboy Bebop video for those who would like to learn more about the dub's production. All sources for my research and whatnot will be listed in the description below. Click the subscriber button down below and click that bell to make sure you do not miss out on any future uploads. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram at KiriKaiDubs to make sure you stay up to date. I'll be back with more videos, but until then, this is Kirikai saying good night, people.